under construction.
Okay.
Hi guys, this is Tracy with Inside Pool Magazine coming to you live from my humble abode, and I have with me Nick DeLeon, the Nikon Kid, and his special guest
is George Teixeira for Tucson, Arizona.
Hi guys.
So we have Tucson, Arizona in the house. We're talking Mosconi Cup Day 3. What a day, Nick. What a day.
It was crazy. We were watching it all day today while we were doing everything at the house, and we had it on the big screen. Man, I was rooting for Chris to take down Shaw to get that momentum switch, and he made a couple errors, and of course Shaw took advantage of it like he always does. The guy shoots straight, and he's spot on when he's, especially having that crowd on his back as well. Like, he brings a lot of energy and he gets that crowd going. So it was tough for Chris's loss, but you just have to, live to fight another day.
Right. I was gutted. I was like, when I first saw the post from Molina Mike that said we were, what the lineup was, I was like, oh my God, after last night, they're going to make him play first.
Yeah, it was crazy. After that 5-ball last night, yeah.
But then again, like we were discussing last night, I mean, we might as well just jump in with both feet. Don't be afraid of it. Get those jitters over with that first rack. And then claim it.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch that match.
You missed it?
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on. Yeah,
okay. I didn't get to watch that match. I got on to Dazzin a little late. Uh-oh, what's going on?
I'm sorry. That was me.
I'm hearing the double. But from what I understand, he had a few opportunities, but Jason seemed to play real well, especially when he was closing that set. I saw the last rack.
He played great. Chris had opportunities to get out, and he missed a couple balls. Like, he banked a solid 2-ball in the side pocket. He had to shorten up a lot, and the ball came down to the end rail, came back up for the 3-ball. It was like 3 or 4 diamonds away, slight angle, and he butchered it. And Shaw took advantage of that, and then I think he broke around the next game. But Chris had his opportunities. It's just that he couldn't close like he needed to.
Well, sorry he lost that match. Unfortunately, he lost the match before that. Well, he didn't lose it. They lost it with that missed ball in the last game, I guess.
Yeah.
But the next match, our boys didn't come through. I saw Steyer with a few misses. That just killed him.
Yeah, right off the bat, he missed that 9-ball after Skyler hit that amazing 8-ball with 4-rail shape. I mean, those balls you have to make. I mean, especially against Europe. Europe is every player on there is a champion. It's crazy to even think about. But we had our chances to take it down today, and it didn't work out.
Well, the sad part that I saw was the fact that Chris's loss got us back to even.
Correct.
But then that Shaw Filler Steyer Woodward match got us down 1. The next match should have, and very easily could have, put us back to even and fired up the USA. Yeah. And then with a 3-1 lead, Shane seemed to just lose his steam. Now, and basically gave that match away, putting us now 2 games down and putting more pressure on Steyer and Van Boening in the very next match. And again, towards the end of that match, he had a couple misses there that they were very costly.
Correct. And it's so tough, George. And like I said, I can't speak for being in that spotlight, but we have something close here in Arizona, and Arizona versus Vegas. That's the same format. It's a spotlight with the stream and the crowds and everything. So it's similar, but it's not as much pressure. Mm-hmm. But it's like those shots you have to come with. When you play 24/7, 7 days a week, you're on the road. Those shots you need to take down. Those easy outs. They're the key wins to get more pressure on Europe, even though you're in their hometown.
You're one of the best players in the world if you're Shane Van Boening, if not the best. And I have watched Shane play now for probably the last 5 or 6 years as I commentate the U.S. Open 8-ball, the U.S. Open 10-ball championships every year, and I get to see Shane. I've seen Shane win 3 10-ball championships in a row. You know, I saw him win 2 8-balls in a row and scratched on the break to win the 3rd 8-ball championship in a row. So he'd be 3-3 for both in a row. I've seen Shane play fantastic. And what I'm not seeing from Shane, and I really looked for it this time around, is I don't see that step. I don't see the body language that I see him once he gets into the finals or a semifinals of a match. Everything changes with Shane on the stream table, and when he gets into a semifinal or a final match, that man just has
the fire.
The fire. You just see it in his stride. You see it in his pre-shot routine, and I did not see any of that from him. I saw a couple of great shots. I saw one particular shot from him. I think it was an 8-ball in second to last game that actually it would have been his 4th win to get on the hill. He came with no, that was the scratch on the 7. The game prior to that David won. I might be thinking about the doubles match, but playing Kachi, you know, that scratch on the 7, he got real funny on it, and he only had 2 ways to play shape. The way he tried to play shape, coming around 3 rails, or drawing to the bottom rail and then coming straight up, and both ways involved a little bit of that side pocket. And unfortunately, he hit the ball a little long. Had he hit it a little longer, he kisses I think it's the 9-ball and slides right off her position. If he hits it a little shorter, well, he's scratched, you know?
Yeah,
and
well,
I don't see that fire. I didn't see that fire in him.
And that's what I was telling Tracy earlier today during when I was streaming. I said, if we lose our first 2 matches, if Shane does not win, we don't win. Like, Shane is the anchor. Shane is the must go get that point. And I was at the last 2 U.S. Opens, or I would say 2 years ago I was at the U.S. Open, and then I missed this year. But watching Shane on the stream 2 years ago and watching him this year, it was a totally different Shane. The fire, the step, everything that you were talking about, we saw it in Texas. Like, we saw everything. He ran over everybody that he came across, other than in the one pocket. But we needed that fire. We needed that we're going to get it. And I don't know if it was Shaw that kind of demolished him, but losing 3 points in all 3-year singles is not good for us U.S.
Well, team. No, it won't bode good for any team.
No, but
not at all.
We need that pickup, and sadly, we were left with Styler and Shane Van Boening right after that loss, and they lose that 5-1. I mean, it's
that match was just horrible. But then the very next match with Jeremy Jones and Katie. I mean, Jeremy, I'm sorry, but he just played outstanding.
Yes, he did.
It didn't seem like it, but he went hill with the guy that broke and ran 3 of his racks. 3 out of the 4 racks that David won, he broke and ran.
Yes, and he came with it safe. He made everything. He overran some balls. He made really good shots. He came with it. The defense, the kick shots. I mean, he was in it. He brought back the fire, and then to have that at the end, I mean, God, it was so. I mean, I was speechless. I was like, "What happened?" And then I thought he was walking off. Like, I thought he was done. Like, after he got called for that foul, I thought he was just walking out of the stadium.
No, Jeremy went over to ask the other referee if that was a correct call. I watched it real carefully and he was very composed. You had to pat the man on the back. I mean, I sit next to him a lot doing commentary. He is a perfect gentleman, and he did everything the right way. Yeah. I did see the clock stopped for other ball cleanings. I don't know if it had to do with the fact that he had already used his extension or whatever it might have been, but I know for a fact that I saw the clock stopped, because when I saw it stopped in another match, I said to myself, Well, that's not a bad way to get
Take
some
more
extra time,
Yeah.
But I can see where the rule might be in place that if your extension is gone, you can't call for a ball cleaning.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened.
People would use that as a timeout or as an extension.
Right.
Correct. To
So
get
I
more
can see
time
the
under
reason
a
if
pressure shot.
if that's the rule. But I was really sad that happened, and I did notice the referee picked up his pace to clean that ball. I mean, he was Johnny on the spot. He picked it up, put it down as fast as he could do it, and but in a case like that, you would think the referee would let him know that the clock won't be stopping.
Absolutely. I mean, why didn't he say, you do realize this will eat into your time?
That's exactly right. Had he said that, Jeremy would have just bent over and shot that shot. I guarantee you.
Correct.
I guarantee it.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing, does it go both ways though? I mean, would they have said that if it was the European team?
They probably would have said it to anyone. It should be said to anyone.
That I'm sorry, your extension is over.
But most important, one of the important things there is you should know the rules.
Right.
And of course, Jeremy is the team captain. He definitely should know the rules.
Yeah, true. But you're in that spotlight. You're in that.
I don't think I would remember everything. Like Nick said, I'm right there. Everything. Everybody's looking at me. It's like, wow, this is a lot.
That's just it. So it's in a really shady place where the referee has to call it. I guess it's the same as if you get down to shoot another ball and it's the wrong one. Let's say you're on the 4 ball and you get down to shoot the 5 ball. Nobody says a word.
Right.
It's the same thing that happened
with the referee can't tell you you're shooting the wrong ball. Your opponent certainly isn't going to tell you you're shooting the wrong ball. I have, but I'm not a pro player either. But it was a heartbreak to see him take that match. I mean, he got an extra break when he actually sold out. Was it the 3 ball that he left in the side pocket?
Yeah.
And he went between the 9 and the 5, left the cue ball there.
Correct. And I'm shocked that David didn't play safe and just make the 5 ball and play safe on the 6. He got
a reprieve that he got to shoot again after that.
Yep.
But and then to get what he got with that 6 ball and have that happen, I mean,
it's heart-wrenching.
It is gut-wrenching, heartbreaking. It is one of the worst things. I've been playing pool for over 50 years. It's it's one of the worst things I have ever in my life seen. And to see it happen to a gentleman like him after performing the way he did in that match, he broke and ran the rack to get on the hill.
Right.
Yeah.
And after seeing that, it was just I was sick to my stomach.
No, I was too. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what's going on? I stop everybody. I go, we're all working in the house doing stuff. I go, stop, guys. I go, something just happened.
And he has to call me. He said, I know you're still at work, but I've got to tell you one more
Oh, my
thing.
God. I'm like, oh, my God, what just happened? It was the most crunchy. Because, if he wins that, they're still down, but they have so much momentum going into day 4 because of that big win. I mean,
it's everything. I mean, it is everything. I mean, I'm in the house alone, and I start screaming. My golden retriever runs in from the backyard to see what's going on. Comes in through the doggy door.
I was so stoked that he got to hill and everything, and then this happens. I was like, and
he had to come with a shot.
Yeah, cool.
He would have had to come with a shot. He would have to slow roll it to hold it, because I don't think he can go up and down on that 6.
No,
but he will come with that kind of a shot. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yes, for sure. But I like how David kind of handled it. David, when he was even shooting the 8 ball and 9 ball, he was like, hey, calm down, guys. This is not right. He knew it was wrong.
Well,
and he still took the win like he's supposed to, because it's the Mosconi Cup.
You have to take the win. You can't forfeit the match.
But for how David handled it, that's exactly how I would have handled it. It would have been crucial, a moment, and being like, oh my God, I can't believe I won like this. And that's how he was, and Jason Shaw came over, everybody came over to talk to Jeremy Jones. I just think it was really, really classy.
That was one of the biggest downers I've ever seen on on the pool stage.
Yeah.
That's just one of the biggest downers I've ever seen.
Whether
the rule was right or wrong, indifferent, for either player there, it's just gut-wrenching.
It's like finding out there's no Santa Claus.
That's right. That killed me.
Oh man, this really sucks.
Yeah, it was brutal. It's definitely really, really crucial.
You know what is funny is I just discovered Santa Claus this year.
Oh, so he is real.
Not the elf on the
shelf? He is real. He is real. I'll send you a picture later, Tracy. I was in Ohio doing commentary for the Pro Billiard Series event, and the camera is panning the audience, and I see a gentleman with a big white beard, and so I'm doing commentary with Jeremy Jones, and I said, well, we have ZZ Top in the audience, because they all have big white beards, right? And he's got a cap on, and he's looks like a good old country boy. And so then that match finishes, and I walk off to the bathroom, and then I'm talking to somebody, and I hear this big voice from somebody saying, "George, is that you?" Says, "I recognize your voice. I've been listening to you for years." And out walks this big guy with the big beard, and I just started laughing.
Oh my God.
I said, "Sir," I said, "I don't know you, but I was just doing commentary," and because he knew me, so I just opened up. I said, I was doing commentary, and I referred to you as ZZ Top because you're in the audience with a big white beard. He goes, "Well, no, I'm not ZZ Top, but I am Santa Claus." And I said, "You're kidding." He says, "Christmas time, I am Santa Claus." He puts on a big red suit, and he does kids and stuff. And
awesome.
The funny thing about this is my wife's grandfather is the actual Coca-Cola Santa Claus. All the pictures you see of Santa Claus with the Coke and everything? Well, that's her real grandfather.
Oh,
you're from Tucson, Arizona. So I said that to him, and he goes, "You've got to be kidding me." He says, "That's who I model myself after, is that Santa Claus."
Oh, that's
and then
awesome.
He sends me a poster that he just got, and we just put it up for Christmas, 1,000-piece puzzle of that very same poster of Santa Claus, and so this guy, so then he sent me pictures of him with kids and stuff, and some of his modeling pictures that he has. And then on Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving Day, or was it the day before, he calls me and says, because he knew I was in Texas for Thanksgiving and I'm with my grandkids. So he says, "Give me a call tomorrow and I'll dress up as Santa Claus and talk to your grandkids, and they can have a FaceTime with Santa Claus." Now, what a great thing to do.
Oh, right.
Really cool.
I now believe in Santa Claus again. I actually believe in Santa Claus. It was awesome. He's an awesome guy.
So
Awesome.
what do you think's going to happen tomorrow, guys?
Who are they
going to put up there?
I would start with Spider.
Since Earl's 10-day quarantine is up tomorrow.
It's not up, is it?
I believe it's up tomorrow.
Well, I think the Earl case is a little.
Will he be able to play? Are they going to do something crazy again?
They might let him
and have Earl save the day.
Insane tournament. I mean, this whole event has been insane.
And have Earl and Shane be playing the double.
Shane's been holding out the whole time. He was waiting for Earl, guys.
Well, I don't know, but I would start everything off tomorrow with Sky. I'd throw, because there's no, if you don't win the first two matches.
The first match is doubles. You have to go with Sky and Shane. They have to click and they have to win.
Our strong field right there.
I mean, you have to start them tomorrow.
Right.
And so there you go. And then the next one would be singles with Sky.
Yeah.
But the next one would, if they win those two, then I go with Shane. And his record is horrible.
Yep.
But I'm sorry, even with a 40% win record, I think he was at 43%. Then he lost he's lost his last two matches. So he's probably below 40% now.
Yeah.
In his win record. Let's see, I think he's played 92 matches. and he was
His record is
41.
Yeah.
41 and 50. 41 and 51.
Yeah, his record.
And so, and then he's lost the next two, so he's 41 and 53.
Yeah,
so whatever that percentage is.
It's the same as what, Nick? What
it's the same. His team. His doubles matches are the same as his singles matches, other than of course before this Mosconi Cup.
Well, it's just, but you know something. If there's a person, I've seen so much of Shane playing pool. Yep. If there's a person that can pull it out and turn it around, that man can. But I'm gonna lead with Sky first.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I mean, Captain America, he's not. He can only get 1 point at a time. The whole rest of the team has to step up.
Well,
right.
The problem with Captain America is that when he goes to get that 1 point, it's usually a very vital point.
No, true.
It's never one that comes easy, except for the one today in a singles match.
Yeah, he had it.
That match, when you talk about being put under the radar, under the spotlights all the time, and so that pressure adds on and builds up, he pretty much was free of pressure.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I guess it's a pressure that comes from within us that could have got him. He overran. Really, to tell you the truth, he overran position and scratched trying to fix it. And then I think he missed one ball in that match to lose to Kachi. So it wasn't all that bad. He wasn't playing bad. He had, against Kachi, he had 2 break and runs.
Yeah.
His first 2 games, he broke and ran, so he wasn't out of stroke. It's just the self-imposed pressure. And
we have one of our chatters with a question here, Mr. George.
Sure.
He's just curious as to why Shaw was allowed to get the ball cleaned and the clock stopped for him, but it didn't stop for Joe.
That is a great question because I have the same question.
Thank you for the question, Chris.
In the podcast that I just witnessed, people said that there was a bug on the ball, so that's why they stopped the clock.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
A bug on the ball.
And so that could have been the difference.
But also, yeah.
After seeing that, I don't understand why.
The rule is that from what I heard and what I've witnessed, I didn't know this was a rule until recently. That if you're getting the ball cleaned, it's going to be part of your extension, or if you don't have the extension, then it's whatever your 32 seconds is while they're cleaning it. Now, I don't know if Jeremy used the extension in that game or whatnot because I wasn't.
His extension was gone that game. Okay. Yes.
Well, then after that, from what I got told, is when you have somebody ask to clean the ball, because like if it was like they were going to stop the clock for the 10, 15 seconds or whatever it is, then everybody would be doing it to get that extra time for that crucial moment. Like, okay, I'm on the 8 ball or I'm on the 7 ball, and I'll go, hey, something's on the cue ball or whatever. But that's why that rule's in place, is that if your extension hasn't been used and you ask to clean the cue ball, then your extension gets used. But if you already have your extension lost, then with Jeremy not knowing that and just being in the heat of the moment, asked to clean the ball, I don't think he thought in the back of his head, like, does this stop the clock or does it not stop the clock? So he instantly already thought that it stopped the clock.
Exactly. No, he would have never asked for the ball to be cleaned unless he thought it would stop the clock.
Yeah, and it's just part of the rules, like it's hard, and it's hard to be harsh on him and say, oh, he's supposed to know all the rules, but he's playing this year. Like, he's in that moment and he wants to play.
Into it.
And I guarantee, don't get me wrong, people make mistakes, but I guarantee you, he's all, man, I just want a couple more seconds or whatever the case is, So let's get the ball clean. And I mean, it was just a crucial and horrible.
A horrible end result.
Oh God, it was.
It's tough under the pressure of the gun there, And actually, I saw a few close-ups, camera shots of the cue ball, where I would say, "Hey, would you please clean the cue ball?" Because you see chalk marks on it and stuff. Yeah. I saw a couple of them like that, where I would think, "Hey, clean the ball,"
Well, true, but George, if we're in a big tournament, man, I want my cue ball clean 8 times during the rack. You get a couple of seconds, but that's why they don't have that rule in place now.
See, Nick, I'm just the opposite. If I'm in a big tournament, if I'm in Jeremy's spot, my nerves work different. I get nervous, yes, and I'll miss shots because of it. Yeah. But I use that nervous energy to speed up and try to make a rhythm. So I would have never asked for the timeout.
Yeah, well,
but that's me, and that could be a mistake too, But I just take my nerves into it. But so it was a sad day for USA. They lost all 5 matches, and they now trail 9-5.
Yeah, it'll be the biggest comeback in Moscone history if they make a comeback. But man, with their field and the momentum that Europe has right now, I want to see a fight. Like, I want them to come out and just give it their all. Whether you have to get in with the crowd, the USA crowd, whatever that you have to do to get it done. I mean, you get it done.
You just said something that triggered something in my head. With the momentum that Europe has, Europe is affected as much by this as the USA team is. They don't want to see that happen to Jeremy. They all know him. They all have played him. They all respect him. They all respect each other. They're feeling bad right now.
Of course.
But they want to win, yes. But in the back of their mind, this could affect them just as much as USA. I doubt it. But, it's possible. But I just don't. I will be extremely surprised, elated. And if the USA pulls this out tomorrow, I will also be surprised, elated, and drunk.
Yeah.
And I don't drink very often.
Another question for us. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the screen.
Sure.
Do you guys think this is the best team America has to offer, in your opinion?
Okay, that actually is a very good question, but I believe that's been answered in social media and everywhere else. Of course not. But how do you measure a team? Do you measure it by Fargo rating? Do you measure it by how the guys get along? Do you measure it by this is what we want to build? And developing players to put in this spotlight.
Yeah.
You want to get guys and I've seen these names thrown into every podcast. I've seen it on every social media where Mike DeShane, Justin Bergman, and you get Oscar Dominguez. When I saw that they put Earl in, I said to myself, I don't know if I had a choice of 2 players before they made their last 2 picks.
Yeah.
It would have been Oscar Dominguez and Rodney Morris.
So go back old school, somebody that's more seasoned to play.
Rodney has been very successful at the Mosconi Cup. I mean, he's not playing. He's not competitive as much as he used to be.
Correct.
But that guy can take a 2-year vacation and come back, and in 2 weeks be playing fine. Rodney Morris is just. Well, first of all, he's left-handed, and that says everything. I'm just
thank
kidding.
you.
And look what happened with Sean Filler. They're both left-handed, and what they do? They won 5-2.
No, true, but also you can't. It's not about putting all the best players on one team. I mean, you can go look at the NBA, like the Lakers did, right? And they're all there's fights breaking out on their team. I mean, all those egos. I mean, not saying that you can't do it, but I'm saying that you're more likely to go more crash heads than you are. They're going to be playing well together. Like,
you want your team to gel.
Yes.
You got to have that gel, and you got to have the guys rooting for each other. You can't have one sulking in the corner thinking, "Miss you, jackass! I can't stand you."
Right.
You don't need that on a team.
Yeah, you need the pump up, and you need the people that.
So the answer is yes and no.
Yeah,
this is the best they could do for this year. Of course, Earl would have been nice to have on the team.
Yeah.
Did we lose much by having Jeremy? If Jeremy was tournament ready, I would say no.
No.
I think there's 20 points difference in their Fargo rates if you want to use that as a measuring tool, which is basically what Fargo is to me, is a measuring tool. It gives me an idea of who's playing and how they play.
We have a question from Penguin.
Oh, he was on the other day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what the actual selection process is for the Mosconi Cup? I've heard by rankings, but there were some higher ranked than others. I mean, we had different ranks altogether in this year's Mosconi Cup, but from what I gather, from what I've heard, this year they were not, there was not a ranking.
Well, this year was
I believe last year was the same.
This year was a very, very different year. We had the last 2 years we've been COVID driven, and so I think the team captain, of course, Jeremy, has been faced with some very hard decisions.
Yes,
very hard decisions, and sometimes you want to throw youth in there because youth doesn't have the experience, and they can outperform experience sometimes with enthusiasm. And so maybe that's why he brought Tyler. Did a great job when he played. Chris,
he did.
Chris last year did a decent job from what I recall.
Yeah, without the crowd.
And there you go. So
the crowd is huge. I mean, yeah, you're playing in somebody else's town, but man, you have to use that against it as well. You have to be able to ignore it. You have to be able to not worry about it. But I mean, they're so loud this year.
They were really after Steyer.
And even yesterday, same thing. Like they're shooting and they're yelling or singing or whatever it is. So it's just like
everything.
You got to get that under control. So
everything. And it's funny because in watching Skylar Woodward, when the crowd would be going off and the camera would pan to him, he'd be kind of like looking around with a smile on his face saying like, "Heff you dudes, you're not going to bother me."
We have a question from another one of our chatters, Matthew. He asked, is Shane's time nearing the end on the Moscone since he's not producing any points?
That's, again, I've seen that asked in every social media and every podcast. I kind of attribute, let's use an analogy. I think there's a pendulum, and the pendulum swings both ways. In Shane's case, it's been swinging on this side and giving him a losing record. Yep. I'm waiting for that pendulum, something to trigger that pendulum to swing the other way. And I think we have
pro players go through that curve where they
you're always you're always up and down.
Players, people, everybody goes through that curve. And so
if you were always on the top, you'd be Efren Reyes.
Right.
All the time.
But
you know what I'm saying?
He has his days.
Yeah, of course. Even Efren has his days. He loses, Alex Pagaline, he loses, everybody has their days. But Moscone
Somebody wants to say hi.
But Moscone Cup, man, you have to keep Shane in there because he's the best American player that we have.
No, it's true. Go on, baby. So I don't know. Do you ask Michael Jordan to step down because he missed 4 game-winning shots?
That's true. No, you come back and you fight another day. You train harder.
I think my personal opinion on the whole Shane thing is we've put this man on a pedestal because he is the best that we have.
Yes.
At this moment. But he has other interests besides what he's doing right now. And he may need that other interest to guide him slightly for a little while so that he can get back into billiards, back at the top of his game. Well, everybody needs a break sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to have a break. And it's good, he goes fishing and all that stuff. Because I mean, when I take breaks when I play pool, man, I love going fishing or I'll go bowling or something for like 5 months or 4 months or whatever it is and take a long break. But man, we need Shane, and do we need Shane more than ever? Like, who else are you going to replace Shane with? Like, what? Like, you don't have Rodney Morris playing 100%.
I don't know. Skylar Woodward's nipping at those heels, guys.
Yeah, Skylar is as important to this team as Shane is.
I understand, but and when you look at it, there's really nobody at his level. I mean, I would say Sky would be right there, but as in at his capable level of him playing, we just need that fire like he has in other events at this event.
Do you guys think Billy Thorpe would have made a difference in this Mosconi Cup?
He brings so much energy.
He brings the same energy to the USA Mosconi team as Jason Shaw brings to the European team.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree.
It's that outside influence. Billy is an addition in two ways. He gets along fine with Shane.
Yep.
And he gets along great with Skylar. And so for those reasons, he's important for the team. But let me ask Matthew Jenkins this question. Tomorrow you want to put your two best men up to play. I'm personally going to start in the singles matches. I'm personally going to start with Skylar. And Matthew, you tell me, who's your second pick? Are you going to pick somebody over Shane? And that answers his question whether Shane's time is nearing an end or not. He can answer his own question.
Yeah, you think the other two have a better chance of getting those points?
Exactly. So,
and our next question comes from Chris Rogers. He wants to know about Jeremy Jones being captain, how he's being chosen. I'm not quite sure who picks that. I mean, I'm assuming Emily Fraser.
Well, last year he was co-captain,
right?
And with the Russian guy, I forgot his name.
What's his Ruslan? Is that
no, not Ruslan, not Ruslan Chinahov. Well, the captain he was co-captain last year.
I can't remember his name to save my life.
Neither can I. And of course, Mark Wilson. Is it Mark Wilson?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Before him, I don't know if he just doesn't want to do it anymore, or what the reasons are to be changing captains all the time. But Europe has gone with Alex Lee for some years, and then before that was it Marcus Shamat? Mm-hmm. See, I can remember Europe's captains, but not the U.S.
That's sad.
That's sad. That is sad. So
Joey Gray was co-captain. I remember that.
Yes, Joey was
Ben Sutherland with BBTV Productions just posted in there too.
Yes. He did.
Joey.
Hello.
Where was Joey?
I don't know. I got told that Jeremy Jones asked John Smith to be co-captain this year. In
fact, John said that himself. 6 months ago, they came to him and he was asked to be a co-captain. But I thought Joey Gray was the co-captain. In fact, I did commentary last year in Vegas, and Joey Gray was there. In fact, I commentated with him a match, and he was introduced as the co-captain of the Mosconi Cup team for 2021.
Chris Rogers asked, "What about Jeremy Sosi?"
He plays really good. I played him about a year and a half ago at Griff's, and I got a little spot. And man, I was very impressed how well he plays on the big table.
And I will say, from the little that I speak to Jeremy Jones about the Mosconi Cup team, his name has been mentioned on more than one occasion as far as in the running for that, along with guys like Justin Martin. Jeremy's always looking for players. He scouts them at these tournaments and events, and you'll see him very intently looking over a lot of the players that he has in mind for Mosconi for not this year, but next year, or for developing talent.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy Jones,
his name is in the running. And I don't know if I should say that, because when I talk to Jeremy, I'm not supposed to say anything about it.
I got you.
But Justin Hall's another one.
Whatever happened to Justin Bergman and Justin Hall?
Justin Hall doesn't play enough pool, from what I understand. And I don't know the reasons for Justin Bergman not being on the team. I don't know if he's passed on it, if he's, said no thanks.
Yeah, I heard that he backed out.
But so there's,
but
there's a
what I
lot
read
of,
online, and as much as I don't know what's true and what's not, but that's what I heard, that he backed out.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are unknown, and people throw names around all the time, but these are names that I hear mentioned a lot, and there's reasons for them not being there, or not being asked, or them saying no. I don't know what the reasons are.
I would love to see Josh Roberts play on that Mosconi Cup team.
Josh Roberts would be an awesome addition.
Yeah, he plays really good rotation.
He plays really good everything.
He's been on fire here in the South, in my neck of the woods. He's been just plowing through here. He kept telling me, he said, "Well, I'm sick of coming in second. I'm sick of it."
Then do something that your player that's coming in first is doing.
I've watched Josh.
Yeah,
I've watched him for some time. I watched him play a perfect set, except for one shot against Shane Van Boening in Vegas, I think it was an 8-ball, a U.S. Open, when it was on the bar table. So it was either 2015 or 2016. Josh scratched on the break. Not a ball was missed in the whole match. Everyone had a break and run except for that one scratch that Josh had. Shane ran out and won.
James Hanshoe in the house. Hello, James.
Yeah.
Mr. Jump Q himself.
Yes, sir. He says Josh Roberts would be amazing, and he doesn't deal with pressure. He thrives on it.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I'll agree 100% there. I've seen him under pressure while I was out in Alabama.
He's an amazing player, and even better person.
Yes,
if you guys haven't read my column yet on Inside Pool Magazine, he gave me one big scoop. A lot of people didn't know a whole lot about him, but they knew now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Matthew has a question. You want to read it off?
Matthew, how would Oscar Dominguez fit, especially with those 4-inch pockets and his experience with Ernesto pockets?
I'm letting you know that I have watched Oscar and his dad for a long time, and when Oscar was at the top of his game, it didn't matter if the pockets were less than 4-inch pockets or they were high. That guy was on fire all the time, and he would have been a great addition to the U.S. team. I mean, he was on it 2-3 years ago, right? Or 4 years ago, something like that. He don't get me wrong, everybody misses. It's pool. It's just like missing a free throw. Basketball players miss free throws. Everybody misses. It's just that you need to take advantage of those mistakes. But he had a couple misses the year that he played. But I mean, overall, I like him. I like his game. I like the pressure. Is not about the pressure. If he misses. But he can handle it all, and he has people to back him up.
Oscar would fit like a glove, and a very, very nice fitting glove too. Perfect fit.
Tom says, why are the Europeans producing better pool players than the U.S. when it's a much bigger sport here in America? I think basically their tournaments are tougher.
No, it's
and they get to travel.
Their government supports it though. All the overseas. If you brought in Japan with 5 people, you brought in China with 5 people, you brought in the Philippines with 5 people, Europe and U.S. would not stand a chance. I'm sorry. I love my U.S. players. I love Chris Robinson, Tyler, all those guys, Billy, Shane. But overall, the overseas players are going to dominate just like they dominate when they come in. Dennis is winning everything. Alex, when he's on fire, he's winning everything. You got Tony Chohan that, competes in that mix. But they just play a totally different game is because their hometown and their country supports it 100%. It's like football for them.
I think it's because they treat it like a sport and we treat it like a game. Guys are on and off.
A big statement.
Yeah. Guys are on and off. They play for a while. They give it up. They play for a while. They give it up. They have a bad, and it's Europe. It's a sport. Here, it's a game.
So we just technically need to make it, take it a little more seriously.
No, for sure. You have to.
When you're out there, represent yourself like you want to represent your nation.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are looking up to you. I'm a big junior league supporter. I'm right on board with Joey Gray about cultivating these children so that they're ready to be ambassadors of our sport. That's what we need. We need ambassadors.
Tracy, you just said a mouthful, and it was all very good. Here in Tucson, one of the things that that I kind of tried to get done was to work with juniors. I went to Curtis Johnson, who owns Pockets and Clicks Billiards, and I asked them both about putting together a juniors something to do with juniors, so we could have a clinic. And Curtis went with it and ran with it. He put it together. The first time I mentioned it, it was kind of like tossed around. He gave it some thought, and then he came back to me and said, "My dad and I are going to put this together, and here's what we're going to do. Will you help us with it?" I said, "Sure, yes." So we were in there, and what we found, and actually he did a great job with it. He put together, I think it was every Tuesday for 3 hours. The kids came in and played, and we worked with them. They gave them lessons. I gave them some pointers here and there, demonstrated how to, move the cue ball, how to run racks, how to play position, how to shoot shots. And then Curtis took it to a great step, and he involved freezers and bull shooters in Phoenix and had Viking sponsor tournaments, quarterly tournaments, to develop junior players. All we got in Tucson were guys that wanted to come play the game. That's why I was able to make the statement. And it was more like we had a couple of girls who they were there for the social aspect of junior play. We had two kids that showed some promise in the game, but again, to them, it was a game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
One of them, a grandfather brought his grandson in and would stay there while he played. And he was a 14 or 15-year-old, I think it was. And he showed a lot of promise. I was impressed. And then there's a couple of other kids that showed some, but to them, it was just a game and nothing about going to play a tournament in Phoenix or anything like that. That's the other thing that's missing in America is there's no developing players. They're very few and far between. Have you seen that, Tracy? Since you were talking about that, it's not coming up through the ranks. The kids are busy with their video games and everything that's
I have a handful of kids here in the South that are really devoted to learning and trying to better themselves. So as long as there's kids out there that wants to learn, I will try and do anything that I possibly can for them to get them where they want to go. As long as they get an education, don't depend on pool to make a living.
One of the things I tell kids when they're first off, in fact, I have two nephews now that are big into playing pool. I think one is in his early 20s. The other one's a little older, but they're big into playing pool. And I tell them both, pool is the last thing I do when I don't have time. Pool is what I do when I don't have other things to do. It's my hobby, That's why, I worked for all my life for a company and played pool, after work, on the weekend. My ex-wife called it my green felt mistress. So all it did was cause problems because I wanted to play pool.
Right.
So I tell my nephews the same thing, and I think this is why it's not the success that it is in other countries.
Possibly. Your Filipinos, they're better at it. They're there as a family. They're hungry for the sport.
Yeah.
When you play something or you have any type of career, you have to be hungry for it. Eat, sleep, and breathe, whatever it is that is your passion. And when you're passionate about something, it comes a little more naturally. But it's not that you didn't practice or you aren't a Shane Van Boening, but it's inside of you. It's who you are. You do have some of these kids like Shane Van Bonings and Skylar Woodwards. You do, but
yes,
they're a player.
Yeah. They come up, and the first time they pick up a cue, it feels natural. It feels good.
And there's very few of us that have that. I have not gained that. I have the gift for gab.
I've seen players have to develop themselves, and I've seen players that just pick up a cue and it's just part of them.
It's beautiful. It's like
and within a year or 2 years, they're just running balls, and somebody teaches them how to. I played pool for about a year and a half, and somebody says, "Why don't you play shape?" And I turn around and I said, "What's shape?" I've been making balls, and I just shot and made balls, shot and made balls.
What does that mean?
And somebody introduced me to shape, and then my game shot up a whole bunch.
Right.
When I was 16 or 17 years old. But I didn't, because people didn't teach you.
Right.
Now you have everybody teaching you. You have YouTube.
Yep.
You've got all kinds of other things.
Chris Rogers has a question for you, Mr. George.
Let's go.
What do you think the reason Tyler came out shooting lights out to missing his first 3 shots today? And was it a struggle for him? Do you think something about the environment changed for the USA team?
The environment changed when he had Shane standing next to him and playing with him and living up to Shane's expectation, not his own.
Wow.
That's my personal opinion.
That's heavy.
That's just my personal observation. When he played, didn't he defeat Filler?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
And he played very well to do it.
Yes,
with
he did.
them screaming at him on top of it.
That's right.
Yeah, correct. And he handled it very well.
And he handled it well. And what I liked the most of that, and Nick knows this because I commented on his thread, was that at the end of the match, he turned around, politely gave him a fist pump. Yep. I was hoping, I was praying that he would walk over and go, "Ah!" Give him some of his own medicine.
Right.
Style.
Right.
Just like Josh does when he wins a game.
Yes.
And I was hoping, but I much prefer the way he did it than what I see Filler or Shaw. But I think Shaw does it for the crowd. Filler does it because he has yet to be humbled.
It's in him.
It's in him, but he is yet to be humbled. Life has not humbled him yet. He's very young.
We get humbled as we age.
That's right.
We're too old to fight people now.
What did you say?
I said we're too old to start fighting people now.
Oh, okay. Well, I can say that.
I don't run as fast as I used to.
I don't either.
Old Man Ferguson says, "What has Tyler ever won?" He's just curious.
Didn't he win
got
the
some
Kremlin?
Wisconsin wins.
He just won the Kremlin Open in Europe.
Yeah.
He's had some great regional wins that I'm not real aware of, but the kid plays good.
He does.
The young man, he plays good. He trains well. He shows a lot of promise.
Yes, he puts in the time.
He puts in the time. He takes coaching well.
Yeah.
From what I've seen. So that's someone. A good coach or someone that wants to develop talent, he is exactly what you look for.
Yeah.
So more than likely, that's why he's there. To tell you the truth, from what I've seen of Tyler, I think in this past year, he hasn't played as well as he did in previous years. But that's my personal opinion.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, Old Man Ferguson says the time for learning is not at the Mosconi Cup.
I have to disagree to agree there. You can play amazing. You can play the best pool of your life for a year and you get picked and you're a rookie. Let's just throw Chris in for the example, right? He got picked for his first year. It was no crowd, no anything, but it was his first debut of like being on the cup and like, hey, I need to perform. The only way we get chances to play and to be in that spotlight to see how we handle it is to get a shot, right? So you have to perform throughout the year in order to have a chance to get on the team. Now, don't get me wrong, you want your most experienced players, you do, but you have upcoming players, you need to know how they handle
need to
it.
get their feet wet. Look what Stoller did.
It's not like Jeremy Jones is like, oh, this player's playing okay, this player's playing all right. Oh, I'm like, this player, he could be. No, like Chris and Tyler had to play, really good for a year or two, and they thought that they can handle the pressure well. And like Jason Shaw said in the interview, you guys wanted tighter pockets. Well, we have 4-inch pockets. You're going to see more balls missed than what you guys seen in the last couple of years. And we're seeing it.
Tighter pockets does two things. There's going to be more misses, It also forces you to play better position, to hold better angles, so you can go, so you don't move the cue ball around and play better patterns.
Yeah, it's
It
tough.
it increases your entire. It helps your entire game. It forces you to play better because you can't be out of line.
Yeah.
Not with 4-inch pockets. But 4-inch pockets are also made to be played with fresh cloth. You have to have that little bit of slide.
Yeah, and I said this before. Alex Pagalayan, I got Joey Ryan with Pool Player Podcast interview with him, and he said the pro tour on whatever tour you're doing, if it's the Canada tour or if it's the Europe tour or the US, whatever tour you guys are doing, for the professional players, he's all, you need to tighten the pockets. 4.5 is way too big. And he says you're going to totally see a different play, and you're going to see who are the top players in the world.
That's exactly right. It does do that, but it takes away an element of the game because it changes the game.
Yes.
You know, so it does take an element of the game of, you know, your best player is going to win all the tournaments. You're going to have 5 guys going around the country in the U.S. or in Europe. It hasn't been that because they have such a huge amount of talent over there that it's not the same 5 guys winning everything.
Correct. Because they have all of them play champion level. So there's a lot of them that don't play. I mean, look at the Terminator. You know, he was commentating. You know, like he plays amazing. Didn't he win the Predator 2 years ago?
Yes.
Right. So yeah. I'm just saying, they have so many more players to pick from at that level where we have a scatter level of playing field.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a little different.
Yeah, it's things are different when you compare Europe to the U.S. The other thing that you see more of is they don't gamble with each other as much as they do here in the United States. And I don't care what happens when you're mixing money with your living and things like that. You know, you have a tendency of not sharing your secrets with other players.
Yeah.
Over there, they try to improve each other. Over here, I'm not going to show this guy that because I'm going to be playing him for $100,000 next month.
Right.
Yeah, the Philippines. When I was at that first Texas Open. Man, they all stuck in their group. They all stuck together. You know, they all helped each other out. You saw even the younger guys. You know, with Dennis and everybody. They they kind of started out to gamble and whatnot, but I mean, they help each other out and they're stuck in their family ways. And I think it's different here. I think that we're not more open to bringing in the being closer to our people and to drive and to help out. They feel that if they do that, then that's one less thing that they actually have to worry about, you know, or one more thing they have to worry about going into tournament play.
Right.
Well, you have gambling clicks. Another thing I've noticed, Nick, you know, you use the Filipinos as an example. I've gotten to know a couple of the players from South America. There's a gentleman by the name of Ariel Castro. There's Gerson Boza Martinez, I think, from Peru.
Yes.
I think Manny Chow was talking about him. He's pretty nice.
And Manny Chow's another one. You know, and when they're together, well, they stick together also. And so does when the guys from Spain come over, they traveled around the country last year all together. You know, they were all together. And so there's the differences. You know, in the U.S., do you have that?
We're torturing his future wife. Mr. Billiard will be getting married in 10 days.
Yes, sir.
Dory has met me, and fortunately, I know she doesn't remember me, so I'll get a little nervous.
Oh, my goodness. Unfortunately, people have a tendency to remember me.
Oh, okay.
It's the diva. It's the diva.
It's usually for my attire, though.
Yeah.
Not necessarily me in high shoes.
Yes.
Well, I know my wife will remember you for your accent.
And my lovely accent.
There you go.
My lovely accent.
So are we all?
Well, it's been a pleasure, Mr. George. I think we're running out of questions, but we have one more question from Chris Rogers before we let you run off. Chris asked, why is there no money in pool? What do you think?
There's no major sponsors. We've had incidents, and because it is treated as a game and not a sport, And major money involves television. We are making steps now. I've had the pleasure of commentating for Q Sports International now for going on 6 years. Now, Predator and Q Sports International have finally come together, and they've put together the closest thing we've come to a tour in a long time is this Pro Billiard Series events. There was 4 of them. I think it was 4 or 5 of them last year. There's 5 or 6 planned for this year. And it'll be, and what that is to try to get a tour for these guys where they can have a shot at making $15,000 to $30,000, you know, on a monthly basis or bi-monthly basis.
Yeah.
That didn't exist before. You had to gamble for a living. And I don't care who you are, if you're going to gamble for a living, very few people make a living or a decent living gambling.
Yeah.
It's a rough life.
It's a very rough life. And it teaches you.
I am not that woman.
It takes you out of a lot. It puts you in a lot of unhealthy situations.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I remember running a few times.
Yeah. and so you when someone's, you know, I was 20 years old and somebody asked to take me. He said, I want to see you improve and I want to take you on the road at 20 years old. And I said, you name me a player that makes, I think I said 50,000. I think I said 50,000 a year when I was 20. You name me a player that makes 50,000 a year, and I'll quit my job at Safeway because I was working for Safeway then, and I'll go on the road. He couldn't name one, so I wasn't about to leave my job to go gamble for a living.
Yeah, here in the U.S.
And I'm very glad I didn't because I'm very comfortably retired.
Right, exactly. Tom has a question for you, Mr. George. Snooker is big in Europe, while playing 9-ball is really rare. Do you think snooker is a harder game than pool? Most European pool players probably grew up playing snooker.
Snooker is a different game than playing pool.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it is a cue sport. Snooker has, well, there's gambling associated with snooker. If I'm not wrong, don't they have pari-mutuel wagering in England and other countries that goes along with snooker?
They used to. I can't vouch for that right now.
Okay, I can't either. That's why I'm asking.
They did.
But and so that
or at
takes
least it was an underground thing and nobody knew about it. But
okay.
yeah,
I mean, I think it's
it's
a totally different game, and yeah, it could be harder because I mean it's new rules, new everything, new pockets, new speed. The rails played totally different than a diamond or a Rassin table, you know. So yeah, things can be different, but for Europe, I mean not for Europe, but for snooker, I feel that they take it to a professional level. And they're held to a professional level at every event that they go to.
Right. They look class.
You don't show up in shorts. Yeah, you don't show up in shorts and a t-shirt and you're ready to play or in a hat or whatnot. They're fully dressed up from day one they start the event until they're out or they win. It's
Miss Michelle Frederick says most Europeans did not grow up playing snooker. Snooker is a British game. And if
I think
she says.
I think she's right. I'm not sure.
So.
Don't
she's
the
a woman.
play snooker also?
Right. She's a woman. Of course, she's right. We're always right. Unless
you're right.
We're wrong, you know, and then we'll never get it.
Right.
Michelle, you're probably right. I think they also play snooker in France and throughout Europe for years. But it is a completely different game.
Yeah.
I actually like the snooker table, but for many years, I played snooker golf.
Yeah.
We had one of those here in my area, and that was something that the older gentlemen, usually the 55 and up, they would do that for hours. And
they would play ring games.
So I want to know what you're.
It's a different strategy. It's like going from playing like taking a 9-ball player to go play one pocket. Like it's a totally different game. You have to learn. You have to learn a different strategy. You have to learn different moves. So it's a lot. It's a lot of different.
Yeah, it's just a different game.
Yes,
that's why you bring snooker champions over to the U.S. to play 9-ball, and they don't play so well.
Wow.
Because the strategies are different. It's a cue sport.
Bro, I never seen big pockets before.
Different size balls,
Yeah.
different cues,
Yep.
Different wood for the cues. They use ash, we use maple.
Yeah. It's just like transitioning from if you play nothing but bar table and then you go play a big table event, then you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm on a 10-foot table. Like, it's
Yeah,
just,
Nick, but and I know if you go from a 9-foot table to a 7-foot table, the transition isn't all that hard.
No, not at all. Not at all. But the other way around, yes.
Right.
So it's a little
Right.
different. Well,
But,
George, we do appreciate you jumping on with us and taking the time to talk about everything that's happened with the Mosconi Cup and plus more and answering questions for the audience. We appreciate all you guys tuning in. We're hoping that U.S. comes out fighting tomorrow, and whoever they pick and whoever the fan picks are and everything, I just hope that U.S. can gain a couple points so we can at least fight a little bit more and not be an early day.
I would like to see us just win the first 2 matches at least.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean, come on, guys. That first day, we're all sitting there going, oh, Earl's been taken out. It's going to crash and burn. And the U.S. came in strong.
Yes, they did.
And
because I think
you never know what's going to happen on this 4th day.
Okay. Like we have this, like thinking like, oh, Earl's not in, so one of their top players is out. We got this. And then they're like, oh, what just happened? And when we're supposed to take a 6-3 lead, we don't. But I mean, like I said, 4-inch pockets, like Shaw said, you guys wanted tighter pockets because you're like, oh, that ball should have never fell. Well, now you have 4-inch pockets. Now you get to see who are the players.
Right.
And right now, Europe showed it all today.
They're shooting it all.
My closing statement would be, when I saw the lineup for day 1, I thought we would be doing great to leave at 2-2.
Yep.
And when I saw that we had a good shot at going 6-3, I was really excited for today. And then I guess that last match yesterday carried over to today, and it something
didn't click.
Our spirit, whatever it was. And going back to that pendulum, it swung the other way.
Yes, it did. And that's how it goes. I mean, short races, tomorrow, they can go hill every time, and U.S. can get the 5th game, in, or they can be winning, 5-1 or 5-2 or whatever it is. But they have to fight so much. And I'm actually happy for the Team USA, that they pushed off the doubles till tomorrow.
Right.
Because now they can regroup. They're not going into day 4 knowing, God, they only need 1 more point. Or, the case like just in that general area, like that worst case scenario where they can all regroup, they can rest, they can kind of wake up, get their game plan going, and they need that fire more than anything tomorrow.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Matthew makes a good point. In no time falls in the hill match. I would say no time clock in the hill game.
I like that.
Me too. That sounds like
I like that.
No. Guys, thanks for having me on.
Mr.
It's a
George.
pleasure. Nice to meet you, Tracy.
Evening.
Nick, I'll see you again. You still owe me some 1-pocket action.
I don't know how to play that game, but
you lie like a rug, buddy. You lie like a rug.
My nose is getting too long. We will talk. We will talk. I'll be there in Tucson for the Predator event.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
George.
you, Tracy. Thanks, guys.
Have a great evening.
See you in January.
Yes, sir. Well, guys, fans, man, I appreciate you guys jumping on with us. I know there's lots of podcasts going on. Melina Mike with Dog in it, and you have Joey Ryan, Pool Player Podcast. You have Nate as well. They all are talking about this, and everybody's just trying to bring everything to you guys as much as we can, talk about everything that's happened. Unfortunately, we ended the day absolutely with a horrible roll. It is what it is. It happened, and we just have to regroup. USA has to regroup and just come back out fighting tomorrow. So look out for us tomorrow. We will be live after the event, whether it ends in 2 more matches or it goes hill. We will be watching, and we will be live right afterwards to talk about it. But let alone, don't go anywhere. We are sticking with this after the Mosconi Cup. So there's a lot of events coming up, and we're going to try to cover it since we're in 2 different parts of the world. Tracy,
we
the
actually
diva,
thought
and
about this,
myself.
guys,
Yeah.
before we did this. He's on one side of the country and I'm on the other. This way we can give you guys the best of the tournaments that we're going to, so that you all know what we're getting into. Inside Pool's trying to do something just a little different and bring the fans and your opinions and what you want and how you want these tournaments run. That's what you got me and Nick here for. You guys talk to us, you let us know what you need, and we'll see what we can do to get it done.
And if we don't have the answer,
we'll
you
find
can
it.
tune in the following week, and we will write it down, and we will try to find the answer. And
I mean, if we don't know, Melina Mike has to.
Oh, for sure, Melina Mike, Mr. Knit, he needs to know all the answers. Also, if you're just tuning in and you're just jumping on and you want to watch the rest of the podcast, you can go back on our YouTube channel and you can watch the whole thing. So don't feel like that you missed out on anything. There was great talk about the whole cup, about different players that could have made the team or could be chosen years down the road or whatnot. So we appreciate you guys jumping on, and I think that we're going to call it a night.
We are. We've got to get out of here. We're going to thank our sponsors and call it an evening. Nick, would you like to go first?
Yeah, Inside Pool Magazine for putting this all together and getting us together and making this work, and continue this after the Mosconi Cup as well, like I said. Q-Tech, my biggest sponsor. I love you. I appreciate everything that you guys do for me, and I am so happy to be part of your guys' family. Also, you got Pool Player Podcast with Joey Ryan. Look him up. The guy has some good stuff. He's teamed up with Melina Mike with my and Travis with my One Pocket sponsor as well, One PKT. Those guys, you need that apparel, you need anything. We're coming out with some amazing products soon. So stay tuned and follow those pages. Rick Smith, everybody knows him. He's normally out in Vegas, BCA, does all the pool pictures. If you need any pro pictures that be hung up in your house because you love Efren Reyes or you love Alex or you love Shane, reach out to him. He always has tons of images that you guys can use. And Melina Mike, the Knit, the guy is the 411 on Facebook. If you do not have him on Facebook, Melina Mike's page or Windows Open, the man has all the information. And yes, do I steal some? Yes, I do. Do I steal some photos? Yes, because that man has it all, and I just love sharing it. So
we just take his stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So reach out to him. He knows everything. He'll keep you in the loop. If something gets canceled, something's coming up here soon, big matches, whatnot, Q raffles. He's your guy to go to on online. Also would like to thank my boy and my man Mike Gwynn with Realty One. The guy knows a lot about houses, everything. So we'll keep you in the loop with everything. I just appreciate everything going on and you guys joining us with me, myself, and the diva.
I'd like to give a big shout out to Steve Ditmar from Poolaholic Gear, making sure Diva is dressed to success when she goes to tournaments. Also, Enterprise Car Rentals, guys. We'll be posting a discount code for you guys on my page and also the Nikon Kids page, so that whenever you guys travel and you need a rental car, they will give you a discount and they will let us know that you guys are renting, so that we know you guys are getting discounts when you're needing them. Also, Marriott and Hilton brand hotels are where the diva stays when she goes somewhere to be at a tournament, go visit Nick, whatever else I need to do. I always stay at a Hilton brand hotel or a Marriott brand hotel. Also, Omega's been doing some fantastic things here on this side of the country. So if you need anything, omegabilliards.com.
Yes.
Also, I'd like to give a big shout out to Shade Tree Lounge in Tupelo, Mississippi, and South Haven Rec Center out of South Haven, Mississippi, for making sure this girl is getting taken care of. So we're going to call it a night tonight, guys, and we hope you guys had a great time, and we'll see you tomorrow right after the Moscone.
Yeah, Team USA, let's get some fire. Let's take it down.
Have a great night, guys.
Have a good night.